My beloved child. There is a reason you are here at this exact moment, listening with a heart that may already feel full, or quietly aching. What you are about to hear was not meant to reach everyone. It was meant to reach you, because someone carries an important message about your son, and timing matters more than you realize. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you in these words. Right now, there is a presence of care, intention, and deep concern surrounding your son. Not worry, care. Not fear, awareness. It's the kind of attention that arrives before change, the kind that gently taps your soul and says, "Pay attention, this matters." Your son may not have said anything out loud. He may look fine on the surface. He may even seem stronger than ever. But beneath that surface, something meaningful is forming. A thought. A question. A turning point. And someone, whether through words, actions, or quiet influence, has been holding a message meant to guide him forward. Stay till the end, because this is not about danger. It's about direction. There are moments in life when children grow silently, not upward where everyone can see, but inward, where only those who truly listen can feel it. Your son is in one of those moments now. He is learning something about himself that will shape the way he sees the world, the way he trusts, and the way he chooses his path. What makes this moment rare is that guidance is already nearby. Someone around him sees what others overlook. Someone has noticed a spark, an ability, a sensitivity, a strength that doesn't announce itself loudly. This person may not use big words. They may not even realize how important their role is. But their message carries weight because it arrives at the exact moment your son is ready to hear it. Don't skip this part. Your presence here is not accidental. Parents often sense when something important is unfolding, even before there is proof. That quiet feeling you've had lately, the one you couldn't explain, that was awareness waking up. It was you being invited to notice, not to control, not to worry, but to understand. Your son is standing at the edge of a realization. Not a dramatic one. Not something that shakes the world. But something that will quietly change how he believes in himself. And here is what makes this message so powerful: it is not about pushing him forward. It is about reminding him of something he already carries. Confidence doesn't always come from praise. Sometimes it comes from being seen at the right moment. Someone is ready to reflect your son back to himself, to say, without saying it directly, "I see who you are becoming." That reflection can stay with a person for a lifetime. It can be the difference between doubting and trying. Between hiding and stepping forward. Stay with me. You may feel the urge to rush ahead, to know everything right now. But this message unfolds gently, because the impact is not in the shock, it's in the recognition. In the quiet moment when you realize this isn't random. This is alignment. Your son's journey is not about perfection. It's about direction. And right now, direction is being offered in a form that feels natural, safe, and deeply human. This is not something to fear. This is something to honor. In the next part, you will understand why this message is arriving now, and what subtle shift is already beginning around your son, one that could open doors you never forced, never planned, but always hoped for. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before you heard these words, a quiet shift had already begun. It started in moments so small they were easy to miss. A pause in your son's voice. A longer silence than usual. A look that lingered, as if he was listening to something inside himself for the first time. These are not signs of confusion. They are signs of awareness awakening. Don't skip this, because what's unfolding now is rare. There comes a time when a child reaches a hidden doorway within themselves. They don't announce it. They don't ask permission. They simply arrive there, guided by experiences that seemed ordinary at the time. Your son has reached that doorway. And someone, unexpected, unplanned, stands close enough to point toward it. This is the shocking part most people never realize. The most important messages are not always spoken directly. Sometimes they arrive through tone, presence, or a single sentence said at exactly the right moment. A moment when the heart is open just enough to receive truth without resistance. Your son is in that moment now. He may soon hear words that sound simple to anyone else. Words that don't feel dramatic. But inside him, they will land with weight. They will settle somewhere deep and begin to rearrange how he sees his own potential. Stay till the end, because this matters more than it appears. You might wonder why this is happening now. Why not earlier? Why not later? Because growth follows readiness, not schedules. And your son has quietly been preparing for this without even knowing it. There is something he has been carrying, an unspoken question about who he is becoming. About whether he is truly capable. About whether his way of seeing the world is enough. This message is arriving not to answer those questions for him, but to remind him that the answers are already forming inside. That is powerful. Someone sees him not as he was, but as he is unfolding. That kind of recognition can change the direction of a life without making a sound. It can soften doubt. It can strengthen resolve. It can light a path that doesn't feel forced, only natural. And here is what makes this moment deeply personal for you. Your awareness is part of the process. By being present, by listening instead of rushing, you are creating space for this message to take root. You don't need to intervene. You don't need to guide every step. Sometimes the greatest support is simply allowing growth to happen without interference. Something huge is waiting for you just ahead, not a revelation that overwhelms, but one that gently opens your understanding. In the next part, you will discover what this message is truly meant to awaken within your son, and how its impact may quietly reach further than you ever imagined. There is a moment when understanding arrives quietly, almost like a whisper you feel before you hear. Your son is approaching that moment now. Not rushing toward it, not being pushed, but gently drawn forward by a realization that feels natural, almost familiar. This is the point where inner strength begins to recognize itself. Don't skip, because this is where everything deepens. What few people understand is that children often sense their own potential before they can name it. They feel it as restlessness, curiosity, or a subtle pull toward something more meaningful. Your son has been feeling that pull. It hasn't confused him. It has been guiding him. And here is the surprising truth. The message forming around him is not about changing who he is. It is about confirming who he already is becoming. That is why it carries such power. It does not demand. It invites. It does not instruct. It reassures. Someone close to him will soon reflect a truth he has quietly hoped was real, that his way of thinking, his sensitivity, his unique perspective actually matters. That it has value. That it belongs in the world. Stay till the end, because this realization doesn't stop with him. When a child feels seen at the right moment, confidence doesn't appear loudly. It settles in. It becomes steady. It shapes choices in ways that last longer than any advice ever could. Your son is learning to trust his own voice. Not the loud voice. The honest one. The one that speaks when he is calm and certain. That voice is strengthening right now, even if no one else notices yet. Something huge is waiting for you in this awareness. Because as he begins to stand more firmly in who he is, the connection between you and him shifts too. Communication becomes easier. Understanding deepens. Moments that once felt distant begin to feel closer, warmer, more open. This is not coincidence. It is timing. In the next part, you will sense how this message begins to ripple outward, how a single moment of recognition can quietly influence his choices, his confidence, and the way he steps into what comes next. Don't skip. Stay till the end. This story is still unfolding, and its meaning is growing. Not everything important announces itself with noise, some truths arrive in stillness. Your son is stepping into a phase where small moments begin to carry unexpected meaning. A brief conversation. A quiet observation. A sentence spoken casually that stays with him longer than it should. These are not random experiences. They are signals of alignment. Don't skip this, because what's happening now is subtle but powerful. There is a message forming, not as a dramatic declaration, but as a gentle realization that settles in his heart. It will arrive when he least expects it, wrapped in normalcy, yet it will touch something deep inside him. That is how the most lasting insights work. Here is the part that feels almost unbelievable. The message is not only meant for him. It is shaping you too. As he begins to recognize his own worth more clearly, you may notice a shift in how you see him. Old worries soften. New respect emerges. You start to sense that he is carrying more strength than you once realized. Stay till the end, because this shift changes everything. There is a natural moment in every parent's journey when guidance slowly turns into trust. Not because love fades, but because confidence grows, on both sides. Your son is nearing that moment now. And the message surrounding him is helping create it. Something huge is waiting for you in this understanding. You don't need to push him forward. You don't need to hold him back. What he needs most is space to step into his own clarity, knowing he is supported without being controlled. That balance is rare. And it is forming right now. In the next part, you will feel how this message begins to solidify, how it moves from a quiet awareness into a steady foundation that your son can stand on, even when the world feels uncertain. Sometimes the most powerful changes begin when no one is watching. Your son is entering a moment where inner clarity starts to feel stronger than outside noise. He may not speak about it. He may not even fully understand it yet. But something within him is settling into place, like a piece that finally fits. Don't skip, because this is where meaning turns into momentum. There is a quiet confidence beginning to form around him, not the kind that seeks attention, but the kind that guides decisions. It shows up in how he listens, how he pauses before reacting, how he senses when to move forward and when to wait. And here is the once-in-a-lifetime truth. The message meant for your son is not meant to push him toward a single outcome. It is meant to anchor him. To give him a steady inner reference point he can return to whenever the world feels unclear. Stay till the end, because this anchor changes how the future unfolds. When a young person gains inner stability, choices become more aligned. Effort feels purposeful. Doubt loses its grip. Your son is beginning to experience this shift, even if it feels subtle right now. Something huge is waiting for you in this realization. You may notice moments where he seems more present, more thoughtful, less easily shaken by small setbacks. These are not coincidences. They are signs that the message is taking root. This is also a turning point for you. Trust begins to replace tension. Observation replaces worry. You start to see that he is not drifting, he is orienting himself. In the next part, you will feel how this growing inner strength begins to express itself outwardly, and why the timing of this message could not have been more precise. There are moments when a person begins to move differently, not faster, but with purpose. Your son is entering one of those moments now. His choices may seem small from the outside, yet each one carries intention. He is learning to trust the quiet signal inside him that says, "This feels right." That signal is becoming clearer. Don't skip, because this is where inner change becomes visible. You may soon notice a shift in how he responds to challenges. Less hesitation. More calm. Not because everything is easy, but because he feels supported by something steady within. This is the kind of growth that lasts. Here is what makes this moment truly rare. The message surrounding your son is aligning his inner world with his outer actions. When that happens, effort stops feeling forced. Progress begins to flow naturally. This alignment is what many search for, but few recognize when it arrives. Stay till the end, because this understanding deepens what you see. Something huge is waiting for you in the way this message continues to unfold. It is teaching him discernment, the ability to sense which paths resonate and which do not. That skill shapes a lifetime. You are also part of this unfolding. By noticing these changes without interrupting them, you are reinforcing his confidence. Your calm presence tells him more than words ever could, that he is capable, that his growth is real, that he is trusted. This is not a dramatic turning point. It is a foundational one. In the next part, you will sense how this growing alignment begins to attract the right experiences into his life, and why this message arrived exactly when it did. At certain points in life, the world seems to respond differently, as if timing itself has shifted. Your son is approaching one of those points now. Situations that once felt confusing begin to feel clearer. Encounters that seem ordinary carry unexpected meaning. This is not coincidence. It is resonance. Don't skip, because this is where the message reveals its wider reach. As his inner alignment strengthens, the right influences begin to appear around him. Not loudly. Not all at once. But gently, in ways that feel natural and supportive. A conversation that arrives at the right moment. An opportunity that feels inviting rather than overwhelming. Here is the surprising realization few ever notice. When a person becomes clear within, the world mirrors that clarity back to them. Your son is beginning to experience this reflection. It reassures him that he is moving in the right direction, even when the path is still forming. Stay till the end, because this understanding deepens your trust. Something huge is waiting for you in this awareness, that guidance does not always come as instruction. Sometimes it comes as alignment. As doors that open without force. As choices that feel right without explanation. You may feel a quiet sense of relief emerging. Not because everything is resolved, but because you sense momentum building. Growth no longer feels fragile. It feels supported. In the next part, you will feel how this message settles into something lasting, how it becomes a quiet source of strength your son can carry forward, long after this moment has passed. Some truths don't arrive suddenly, they settle in, becoming part of who we are. Your son is beginning to carry this message in that way now. Not as a memory of words spoken, but as a feeling of certainty that stays with him even in quiet moments. This is how lasting strength forms. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes real. What he is receiving is not instruction, but permission. Permission to trust his instincts. Permission to move at his own pace. Permission to believe that his path does not need to look like anyone else's to be valid. This is the once-in-a-lifetime realization. When a child feels permitted to be themselves, they stop seeking constant approval. They begin to listen inwardly. That shift changes how they engage with the world, how they choose, how they grow. Stay till the end, because this realization reaches further than you think. Something huge is waiting for you in the way this message reshapes your connection with him. Conversations become more open. Silences become comfortable. There is less need to explain and more space to understand. You may notice that he stands a little taller, even when no one is watching. That he approaches situations with quiet assurance. These are not dramatic transformations. They are deep ones. In the next part, you will sense how this inner permission begins to guide him toward meaningful experiences, and why this message will continue to influence his life long after this moment fades. There comes a time when what was once invisible begins to shape the future. Your son is standing in that space now. The message he has received is no longer something he thinks about, it is something he lives from. It guides how he responds, how he chooses, how he senses what feels right. Don't skip, because this is where transformation quietly takes hold. What is surprising is not how quickly things change, but how naturally they do. He is not trying to be different. He is simply being more himself. That authenticity carries a quiet power that influences everything around him. Stay till the end, because this is bigger than it appears. Something huge is waiting for you in the way this inner shift begins to echo outward. Relationships feel lighter. Challenges feel more navigable. Even uncertainty loses its edge when grounded by inner clarity. You may notice that he no longer seeks reassurance in the same way. Not because he doesn't value connection, but because he trusts his own sense of direction. That trust is one of the greatest gifts a person can carry forward. This is the moment many hope for but cannot force. In the next part, you will feel how this message reaches its most meaningful expression, and why its true impact may reveal itself when you least expect it. Eventually, every quiet journey reaches a moment of recognition. Your son is arriving there now. Not with applause, not with announcements, but with a calm awareness that he is exactly where he needs to be. The message that began as a gentle influence has become an inner compass. Don't skip, because this is where meaning becomes legacy. What makes this moment extraordinary is not what changes on the outside, but what stabilizes within. He now carries a sense of direction that does not depend on circumstances. When questions arise, he doesn't rush. When choices appear, he listens. That patience is power. Stay till the end, because this truth touches you too. Something huge is waiting for you in the realization that your role has shifted, from guiding every step to witnessing growth with trust. That transition is not loss. It is fulfillment. It means what you gave him has taken root. You may feel it in unexpected moments. A conversation that feels deeper. A shared silence that feels complete. A glance that tells you he is standing on his own strength, yet still connected to you. This is the lasting impact of the message. It didn't arrive to change his destiny overnight. It arrived to awaken his confidence, his discernment, his sense of self. Those qualities will guide him long after this moment passes. And when you look back, you will realize something quietly profound. This wasn't about one message. It was about timing. It was about readiness. It was about trust. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Because even now, as this story settles, something huge is still unfolding, just beyond what can be seen. Long after words fade, the feeling they awaken continues to grow. Your son is now carrying something that cannot be taken away, a quiet certainty that he belongs on his own path. The message that reached him has settled into his core, becoming part of how he sees himself.